Hello and welcome to an episode of Indie Work Show Off. We are going to have some fun today and we're going to get a little spicy. So when Mike's Hot Honey launched Drizzle the Mikes in July, it's a great campaign. They didn't just create a campaign, they helped turn swicy, otherwise known as sweet and spicy, into cultural vocabulary. With menu penetration of sweet and spicy items up 38% in the last year, and Hot Honey projected to outpace nearly all culinary flavors by 2027, this Richmond-Boston indie agency proved that culture-shaping work doesn't require a Super Bowl budget. It requires alignment between strategic agencies and visionary brand leaders who greenlight bold work. Speaking of the work, let's take a look at it here. Just 1 second.
Oh, this is fire. Did you order delivery
I did.
to a restaurant?
Yeah, I wanted to try Mike's Hot Honey on a pizza. Yeah, I wanted to try
Mike's Hot Honey on pizza.
Are we?
You're not stoned. It's just that good.
This is good.
Oh.
All right. Love that work. All right, let's bring in Mike Cassell, Chief Strategy Officer and co-founder of Another Thing, and Kate Adams, VP of Marketing at Mike's Hot Honey, to talk about this phenomenon. Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Great to be here.
Oh yeah, and of course the work, which just continues to gain momentum. Just so much fun. So, I mean, we're talking here about creating new vocabulary, and Mike's helped do that. So it just didn't launch a campaign; it helped create the word "swicy." It's now showing up on menus. And so, when you first started working together on the Drizzle the Mikes campaign, what was the strategic difference between creating a good campaign versus creating something that could become vocabulary? And I'll let whoever wants to start answering first. Go ahead.
I can start. I think, we started, I don't know if we had the goal of straight up vocab. I think we had the goal of people talking about Mike's Hot Honey and people talking about the campaign. And I think what we did is we just really dialed in. The whole campaign was based off of how people were talking about the product. We like to start a lot of our work with how are people talking about the product? What are people talking about in culture that we can attach the brand to? We like to say, we like to fuel a conversation with a brand and make a brand a part of that conversation versus just, trying to start one from out of nowhere. Right. So, we dove in, we wanted people to talk about this, and we really just looked at how are these fans of this product talking about Mike's Hot Honey? And, when we dug into it, it was how they would this flavor of the sweet heat combination just made them want to put it on so many different unexpected things. And that's where the campaign came from. It was what started with pizza led to tuna salad. What was tuna salad led to just crackers. What was crackers? Next thing you know, you're putting it on your peanut butter sandwich and it was going on dessert. So all these things were kind of, whoa, when did I start eating like this? And that's where the insight came from that led to this work that would hopefully get people talking about it, which we've seen which has been a lot of fun.
Certainly. Kate, anything to add?
I'll just agree with what Mike said, that it wasn't at all about the word spicy. We even say sweet heat. That's just kind of been the buzz hook. And it was really about that genuine insight and listening to what consumers said. We heard a lot, paraphrasing their words, that it changes the way you feel about food, elevates the flavor, that kind of just visceral moment that you try it and then you want to try it on the next thing and the next thing. So for us, it was really about the bringing to life that authentic connection with the consumers, listening to what they said about what they were saying about our product, and bringing that to life and embodying that within the campaign. So this is really a tribute to all those folks that had been trying us, loving us, and telling us about that love day in and day out.
Yeah, certainly. And you've both said the insight came from noticing that the euphoric feeling and full body serotonin spike that, people get from using this and trying new things. So for CMOs watching, how agencies develop insights, what made this a social first discovery versus something that could have come from a traditional focus group?
I bet it could. Honestly, I bet it could have come from a traditional focus group if you would just watch people eat it. Social is the ultimate focus group. And I think, I hope I can say this here. There was this one tweet that we found, I guess you call it whatever, X post. But there's this one tweet that we found that really was I can't stop eating Mike's Hot Honey on stuff. Is there crack in this? Which we were like laughing at. And then we were kind of like, and then that kind of like took Nick, who's my creative partner, down, a rabbit hole. And we were like, well, that's interesting, but we don't want to say that. But then we just started looking at TikToks, and people were like, how did Mike's Hot Honey end up on my tuna salad? Like, that's a weird combination. And we just kind of started talking about it all loud. It was like, this is how people eat when they're stoned. And I think it was one of those insights that came to us that we were like, well, that's a little, it's provocative, but like, even if you don't engage in THC or marijuana, everybody wants to eat like they're stoned because they know that food just tastes so much better. So it was hardworking. But like, that also started because Kate gave us a great brief that was like, we want to capture that euphoric feeling. Like, we didn't discover the euphoria. She was like, it is euphoric. And we were trying to come up with the best way to articulate that, which we found through the social conversation.
Gotcha. So Kate, you came from, major CPG brands like Skittles, Mars, and where they're massive budgets and multiple agency partners. So when you arrived at Mike's Hot Honey with a brief to capture this consumer passion, what was broken about how most agencies would have approached this challenge?
That's a great question. And what I would say is even different from Mike's Hot Honey than other brands I worked on. I worked on some beloved brands, right? Yeah. Skittles, Snickers, Five Gum, etc. Is there was just this built-in, real diehard passion for the brand, love for the brand, without that big awareness yet, where every consumer across the country knew the brand, and it wasn't, recognized nationally yet. So, what was really unique was that very big passion point for consumers, and I would say one point of difference, what we're talking about here is it's not necessarily a social first insight or a social first love for the brand. It's the people at the center of it. There are people who love Mike's Hot Honey, whether that is the chef at a restaurant, the pizza, the pizzeria owner, whether it's the consumer who's using Mike's Hot Honey in their kitchen and their food. There's individual people. It's like real life people that are central to all of it. And this was an opportunity to really listen to those folks first, get the product in the hands of consumers first, listen to what they were saying, and then bring that to life and bring that insight to life in a way that really embodied, again, the consumers who had been with us from the very start, the chefs and the tastemakers that had been with us from the start, the creators that had been with us from the start. There are this cast of characters that are a part of the brand and part of the brand's personality and DNA that we could tap into. And we were at that time, and still a brand at the size where we're close enough to that proximity to those people who are part of this brand. And it's an opportunity to embody them as part of the campaign. So as brands scale, as agencies scale, right, you become kind of steps further away from the consumer. And I guess my message in this, and the biggest learning for me, was maintain that proximity to the people who know your brand, the people who consume your brand, and don't just refer to them as consumers, but it's actually like the people that are at the core of it.
Absolutely. So Mike, most brands have marketing plans, not cultural movements. So for indie agencies working with clients who don't have Mike's 15-year grassroots foundation to build from, what are the early warning signs that a brand is trying to manufacture cultural relevance rather than amplifying what's already there?
I think it's weird, but it's not weird. It's obvious, but it is like trying too hard. I think, I would say like maybe even 15 years ago on social, there was all those, movements, which was great at the time, where brands would just try and be a part of every cultural moment. And I do think that is the manufactured, where it's like, you're always, everything that happens, you're like, how can my brand play in this space? And there are the big viral ones that it's just fun to. But I do think as, it progresses, and how you make your brand a part of culture is really defining what are the ownable moments that my brand can activate in culture. Like, there are some moments that you're like, my brand would be perfect for this. Yes, activate. But there are some other moments, it's like everyone's doing it, we have to say something. And I think that's the biggest differentiator of manufacturing. Like, if there's a cultural moment and you don't have anything to say with a unique ownable point of view, that's when the manufacture starts. Or if you develop a brand strategy that then funnels its way to social, that you have this very ownable point of view that allows you to jump into cultural moments at specific times where people are almost like waiting for your POV. I think that's probably the biggest difference to me, is like having your unique way in versus, being in every moment commenter, if that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense. Kate, what made Another Thing the right fit for Mike's Hot Honey? Obviously, you could have gone with a big agency, you could have gone, anywhere, but you chose Another Thing, and they obviously hit it out of the park so far. So, what made them the right choice?
Yeah, this gets back to the people point. So now I'm a broken record with this people point side of it, but it's the people. And a lot of that is that Nick, who's the creator at, or is the creative at Another Thing, knew Mike, our founder, Matt, our CEO, from a past life. And it was a real serendipitous opportunity when we were exploring launching our first national creative ad campaign, right? And seeking to partner with a creative agency to do that, right? The personal connection to the individuals that are part of our organization, the brand that we're a part of, was point number one. And then point number two was we were looking for someone that would really get invested in the business, in addition to the consumer and the insight that we were trying to bring to life, someone who wanted to really get in with us and understand what our business challenge was, what we were seeking to do, in addition to what we were trying to do from a creative side of it. And then the ability to be dynamic and flexible within that too, right? Doing something for the first time, you don't have that proven model for how it will work for your brand or how it will work for your creative and media platforms. And so you've got to have someone who will show up with you in that way as you learn through the process. So really it was about the people. It was about the timing and the opportunity. And it was about the willingness to get in the business and learn it and do it together.
Gotcha. And Mike, from your perspective, what made Mike's Hot Honey such a good brand to work with, and such a great way to get their word out there with your combined creative efforts?
I think from the beginning we knew they wanted to do good work. Even like their brief, like I talked about, like their brief wanted to do something provocative. They wanted to create buzz. They wanted to put a flag in the ground of like, I think it was something that I feel like, Kate, you said this, where it was like, we want to put a flag in the ground in a big buzzy way that like proves, Mike's Hot Honey isn't just a trend, but we're here to stay. And I think they were, pushing us to create the most breakthrough work. I think, I've worked across all this, and there's different types of briefs. And those are the ones that you get really excited about. They wanted to roll up their sleeves and get into the work with us. So, as we were presenting ideas, we were coming up with the concepts, but every meeting felt really collaborative. We were always building together. I think it was always, a lot of trust, even down to the production standpoint. Kate mentioned before, but my creative partner, Nick, he was recommending his, the production approach. And they were just like, there was a lot of trust. Like, we trust you. Let's do this together. So I just think it did truly feel like, and it still does, like I said, Kate and I were to shoot this week. It feels like we're on the same team. And I think that is a rare thing that a lot of people say and they don't really mean, but truthfully, because, smaller brand, smaller agency, we've just kind of like linked up together and done everything together and really built, this campaign together. So it's just been the same goal of breaking through, creating great work, and, having some fun while doing it.
That's great. You mentioned that you were on a shoot. So what more can we expect from this fun collaboration from you two?
Well, I think just more drizzling, more fun. We're trying to come up with more fun ways for people to drizzle. We started with Drizzle the Mics, and we show why people drizzle the mics with that feeling it makes you feel. And now we're just going to give people, we want to start coming up with more cultural reasons of why people should be drizzling the mics more on more things. And just continue to remind people that, again, with the theme of this, there is nothing that doesn't taste a little better with a little spicy. So we are trying to like really push that with, amplifying the drizzle.
Gotcha. So, all right. I know I asked this before when I wrote the article for campaign, but I got to know, what are some of the weirder combinations that either of you two have heard for drizzling?
Kate would know more. I would let Kate start.
Happily. If you haven't tried it yet, there's a viral protein bowl that is the combination of cottage cheese, ground beef, sweet potato, avocado, and a drizzle of Mike's Hot Honey on top. Approachable ingredients, mix them all together. It's delicious. Also a fun trend with ice cream pickles and Mike's Hot Honey on top. Sounds absolutely crazy, shockingly delicious. I think what's really fun about Mike's Hot Honey, right, is it starts on pizza, then all of a sudden it's fried chicken, then it's cheese boards, then it's avocado toast or breakfast toast, and then all of a sudden you just get into this world where you're just experimenting on everything, right? And the unique kind of viral recipe combinations that you might see in that social space. Drizzle Mike's Hot Honey on it. it's the duality of sweet and heat, right? Sweet plus heat does make everything taste better. And then the fun that you can have with that, the people that are part of the Mike's Hot Honey community make that whole food experience even more fun because of the cultural component, the people that are part of the community. It's great.
They got to be weighing in all the time too. So what, I mean, obviously on the social channels, but how are these people interacting with you?
Definitely on the social channels, but also in real life. When we were talking about this earlier, the point was made about, is it a social first insight? It's a people first insight, right? We've also had the benefit of being with our consumers in person, at events, at food festivals, at trade shows, right? So we've got folks that we've had real life conversations with, in addition to the virtual online conversation that's real as well, but it's within the digital space. And so there's that real life component to the conversation too. And that connection has been there and direct with consumers from the start, in real life, through to social. And it's fun to keep an eye on what consumers are saying about you when they don't also follow you. Yes, listen to what your followers are saying, but we also find ourselves listening to what others are saying about us, but might not follow us yet, right? The untagged conversation, the Reddit conversation, that sort of thing too. There's these consumers and fans of the brand that are beyond the folks that follow us, that are just kind of out there in that digital community, and in real life community. You've got to listen to what they say, because they're the ones that have built this brand. And this is a campaign in tribute to them.
They're like, I've noticed there's like Drizzle hype men who are just like on social, and you'll see someone post a random piece of food and they'll just be like, yo, drizzle some Mike's Hot Honey on that. Like, it just, you see the combinations like just building is the way people do that. They're and I think also, like, to the point of what Kate's saying, is people are not shy to do endorsements, not realizing they're doing it just by showing what they like have found to drizzle Mike's Hot Honey on. Right. To the point of like the pickle and ice cream. Like it's like everyone wants to find the unique thing that they've drizzled it on once they've gotten that, like we call it, pizza gateway drug, and they quickly, everyone wants to share what they found it's good on, which is a really great thing to have happen.
Right.
One more. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
One more point on that too. It's the people that have built that as well, and then it's like the chefs too that have been doing this, right? Like those are one and the same in a lot of instances too. But you've got the chefs at like a Michelin star restaurant, to the chef who's got like the food truck, to the at-home chef, and all those chefs in between. There's chefs that are a part of it. There's the consumers that are a part of it, and everybody's got that ability to elevate their food with the balance of sweet and heat in every instance. Right.
So Mike, what's the weirdest combination you've done personally?
Oh, it's I like tinned fish a lot, and I was like eating some tinned fish, and I was like, I had that like weird, again, like that euphoric thought where I like looked at the Mike's Hot Honey, then looked at the tinned fish, because I was like, this in my head doesn't make any sense, and then I just went for it, and I was like, oh, okay, sweet heat and some sardines actually works pretty good. And it was like one of those, like I was like at first I was like, even getting up to the point to my mouth, I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna go, but it worked out. So I think that was the one that I was just like, ooh, okay, all right. And it still was good.
Dang, sardines. All right. You got me beat. My two weirdest are egg salad and Thai food. And both of them worked amazingly.
People love it on egg sandwiches. So I see egg salad working, and like Thai food, that feels good. Like egg sandwiches has been, we noticed in social, a big one. And Kate, don't you guys have some like local, like, like breakfast places that put Mike's on egg sandwiches all the time, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, that seems like such a Chicago thing. That's awesome. All right. So looking ahead, when Swicy is completely mainstream and every QSR has hot honey on the menu, what separates the partnerships that build authentic cultural vocabulary from those that just rode the trend?
Meaning like which partnerships you think capitalize on the Mike's DNA best,
Yeah. So who's using it more authentically, or who's just trying to jump on a trend?
Kate, do you want to?
I don't think anybody's trying to jump on a trend or use it authentically. I think like any ingredient, any product, any taste profile, like sweet and heat, right? It's about how people's palates evolve. It's how menus evolve. It's how pairings evolve, right? And it's not about whether someone is jumping onto a trend, or they are just at the stage in their menu development that that's the flavor profile that works for their cuisine, their patrons, etc. Right? I wouldn't say that it's about one or the other, but I will say that we have always greatly appreciated, and the campaign is nod to the folks that have been with us from the start, the first drizzle at Polly G's, to those chefs that took a risk with us early on, right? And it might have been a 1, 2, 3 location restaurant, and those will be the community that we'll always want to continue to support and build as part of our Mike's Hot Honey community. It's what our creative campaign nodded to. I spoke about this before, but there's some fun Easter eggs in that Drizzle the Mike's campaign where we started in a pizzeria. So of course we've got a spot that's about a pizzeria. And then the first board meeting happened at a diner. So of course we've got a spot that's about a diner. So certainly not about jumping on a trend, but it's about when those restaurants are ready to embark upon the sweet heat and infuse that into their menu, and when their patrons are ready for it. And our community is inclusive of everybody that's been there from the start, and the folks that are introducing sweet heat into their menus now.
I will say this is more of a consumer thought and not working on Mike's Hot Honey, but I think there's proof that Mike's Hot Honey now does feel like an authentic ingredient. Like, I'm from New Haven, Connecticut, where like pizza's a religion. Yeah. And there's the godfathers of that are basically Pepe's and Sally's, and Pepe's launched a campaign where they put Mike's Hot Honey on pizza, which like even like 5 years ago, people would be like, you would get like dismissed if you asked for it. And now I had friends from New Haven be like, this is so awesome that you like, did you have anything to do with this? And like, that to me was like the mind point where you said like trend or authentic, that I just think like that is a very place that doesn't mess around with what they do. And like any ingredient would have to feel authentic. And the fact that they put Mike's on it, like it's definitely like gone from like, oh, this is cool, to like, this is an authentic way to make a type of pizza or whatever it is, the menu item that you put it on.
Yeah.
And to build on that, Mike, it's about menu item 2, 3, 4, right? Yeah. It's an ingredient based on a sweet heat taste profile. And you can drizzle it on pizza, chicken wings, side dishes, dessert, ice cream. We already talked about that. Try the pickled on the top. Also in a simple syrup in a cocktail, right? So it's about a really versatile ingredient. And we really have not found a food pairing that isn't elevated, or a food pairing that isn't elevated by the flavor of sweet and heat, right? So it really is an ingredient within a sweet heat taste profile space you can put on any number of menu items.
Amazing. Well, I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a great learning for how indie agencies and rising brands can really work together really well. And I think you guys hit it out of the park. And I'm so glad to see the success keep coming, especially considering I'm a pretty diehard user of it. So
thank you.
we love that. And any parting thoughts on Swicy and where it might go in culture?
Mike's starting this movement. I think Mike's just getting going. Like, I just think in culture, it's going to be on more. I think people will just find more ways to use it. Like, we're still trying to crack that egg of what's the next big viral recipe. So, I think as we see these, TikTok recipes, I think Swicy is just going to be a part of it. I think that's the goal. And that's like what we're trying to do as we continue to build out this Drizzle the Mike's brand world.
Absolutely.
Agree. We're just getting started.
Yeah. Yep. And I love it. And we should come back in a year when you've taken over the world. It's great. Thank you so much. And thanks for everybody for joining us for Indie Work. Kate and Mike, thank you so much, and continued success.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank
Kyle.
you.
Cheers.